Welcome back to the Colorado Springs Business Podcast. My name is Andrew Hasley, and I am the host of the show. On today's episode, we have on Joe Fyffe. Joe Fyffe owns a company called AV Excellence, and he specializes in home theaters and doing some really cool audiovisual stuff. We really geek out on some of the things that's going on, some advancements, where we think the future's going with that in this episode. But before we get into that, here a word from our sponsors. Our first sponsor of the day is Planet Duct Air Duct Cleaners, who do air duct cleaning for your homes, for your commercial. They really do an awesome job. They're really good at what they do, but Planet Duct is also offering a special offer to anyone who listens to the show of 10% off of your services on mention of this show, the Colorado Springs Business Podcast. So make sure you take advantage of that if that's something that you need. Our next sponsor is Alpha Elite Plumbing and Heat. Alpha Elite Plumbing and Heat is a plumbing and heat company here in Colorado Springs who provides excellent plumbing services. So you can check out Plumbing and Heat at alphaeliteplumbing.com, and you can find them on Facebook, anywhere at all. Check them out if you have any plumbing and heat needs. All right, so let's get on with the show and jump right into this interview that I did with Joe Fyffe of AV Excellence. This is a really fun episode, and I hope you enjoy. This is a weekly show where I interview business owners and entrepreneurs from Colorado Springs, in Colorado Springs, doing things in the community of Colorado Springs. So I'm here with Joe Fyffe. He's the owner of AV Excellence, home theater, audio. You do custom home theaters for people, basically, right?
Custom home theaters, home integration, smart homes. So basically what I do is everything from hook up an antenna to your TV for off-the-air broadcast to control everything in your house.
People need their antenna hooked up?
A lot of people are cutting the cable.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we'll cut the cable. Okay, I was thinking hooking up an antenna to your TV. Like, people need assistance to that?
Some people.
Okay.
I've got like 80, 90-year-old
okay, yeah.
ladies, that, they don't know how to do it. And,
for sure.
And then you got to get into the menu on the TV and scan for channels.
Oh, yeah, there's extra stuff. Yeah.
So, it's not like back in the old days where you hooked up your rabbit ears and you put it on channel.
Oh, really? Okay. I haven't had to deal with that since back in the old days, I guess, which is crazy because I remember being a kid. I would do all that stuff for my mom, and she wouldn't know what to do, and I'd just be like, bloop, bloop, bloop.
Yeah, exactly.
Red goes the red, Mom. Yellow goes the yellow.
It's just changed a little bit.
It's
constantly changing industry. So
it's not anything you buy is not future-proof, basically.
Not really.
Yeah.
No.
And that's a term I've recently come to terms with. Not terms with, but I've learned recently.
Right. Was
the future-proofing things. Future-proof. Like my camera right there that we're using, it actually is future-proof. It actually keeps a consistent value as the years go on. But like phones, like this phone right here, it's not future-proof. It's going to break down in 2 years, like every other smartphone that I've had.
Absolutely.
And I think that's by design, actually. But
it is to a certain degree.
To a certain degree, but it's also technology just advances.
Well, yeah. So, you started out with a single processor. Then we went to the dual. Now we're in quad. And then there's going to be octal.
And then you have these apps that require the power of that. So if you don't upgrade, then it's going to slow your phone down, and it's just going to be a hectic time.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in doing this?
I've been on my own for 12 years now.
Okay.
I worked for another company for 8 or so years before that. And like I say, I've been on my own for 12 years now. Yeah,
12 years. That's exciting. That's crazy. And like self-employed, fully 12 years.
Yeah.
Do you know what percentage of a category you're in?
That's if you can last a year.
Yeah. Well, a year, it gets thrown around a lot, at least in my world. 90% of businesses fell within the first 5 years, and then 90% of businesses that succeed after the first 5 years fell after the first 10 years. Yeah. So it's like you're in the 12th, so you're getting it, dude.
Apparently, I'm doing something right.
Yeah. So why home theaters? What got you excited about
I've always been into audio. So from the time I was like 10 years old, I was modifying my cassette player so that I could have dual earbuds.
Okay, yeah.
And stuff like that. So I've just always been into the sound aspect of it. And then, the video part of it came in. And, so then it was like, okay, it's not just hooking up a TV. Now you got to have the surround system to go with it. And from there, it went to, the control aspect with universal remotes and smart stuff like that. Then it morphed into, everybody started seeing the commercials on TV about, let's integrate your alarm system with everything.
Now your light switches and
switches.
Everything could be connected. It's insane.
Absolutely.
I have a light bulb that's the light bulb built inside of it has Wi-Fi, and I can control the color. I can control
There's one right over there.
the Kelvin. I can control and that's, as a filmmaker, that's important.
Yeah.
Being able to control what type of light you're using, and it's affordable. Those kind of lights for filmmaking, you can go to a filmmaker store or wherever online, and it's going to cost $200 or $300 for one of those. And you go to Home Depot now.
These and they're 56.
yeah. And
Alexa,
I'm sure there's some certain differences.
Alexa, turn on blue light.
What?
See behind the subwoofer?
That's awesome, dude.
Alexa, turn off blue light.
I've heard of something. I've seen something on TV, or not TV. I guess TV still, but it's YouTube. There's you can connect your smart stuff to your faucet, and you can tell Alexa to pour 8 ounces of water for you.
Yeah,
that's insane, dude.
That's
Alexa, pour me 8 ounces of water.
Yeah,
and it goes.
Yeah.
So are you getting involved in any of that stuff?
Not the faucets yet. That's still really, really new.
Yeah, and it's kind of outside of your niche a little bit too, but it's also in it. Yeah,
if you want to control your entire house.
Yeah. So, would you have to change your name from audio visual?
People know me as AV Excellence.
Yeah.
So, I just keep making additions to the website. It's like, okay, now we're doing home integration and smart home and.
Because it's the same stuff, essentially.
It's the same stuff, yeah.
Just more control, I guess.
Yeah, it's a lot more control, So we've gone from, the candy bar remote, which controls that system.
Yeah.
To now, here's Google.
Yeah, and it's voice activated.
Over there's Amazon, and there's several of them throughout the house. So, my lights are automated. So if I come home late and my lights aren't on, I can always just say, hey, turn on master bed, turn on blue light, turn on red light, and
For
now
sure.
I'm not in the dark anymore.
Yeah. And what's interesting about that, a little bit off subject, but color has a psychological effect on you.
Sure does.
So you could really feel if you maybe you want to write a horror novel, turn on a red light. I don't know. Maybe you want to chill and relax. You had a stressful day. Turn on a blue light.
A blue light, a purple light. Yeah.
You can also, on the light bulb that I have with the app, you can tell it to go on a pulsing mode, and where it pulses from lighter to bright to darker color, and it has an ocean mode where it looks like the waves or whatever, and then it has a fire mode where
I forget what the term is, but there is a lighting system now, Circadian Lighting.
Okay, which is the
mimics the sunlight. So in the morning it's a hue. As it gets to noon, it changes hues. It changes the Kelvin.
That's
and everything.
cool.
And then
so if you live in a cave, you could simulate.
Yeah. Because you get that seasonal affectation disorder in Alaska. And
They actually do have light treatment for hockey players who to help their performance because of the lack of vitamin D from lack of sun. Just so crazy. I know this is way off topic, but it's cool stuff though. And that's what this podcast is about, just a conversation.
Sure.
And, and it just happens to have essences of what you do. An essence of business, too.
Right.
So, and actually, there's certain main topics that I do try to discuss, like a skeleton, but I love to veer off into cool, different lands.
Yeah.
This thing's going to fall 5 times.
Oh, yeah. At least.
Yeah.
No, so, with my lights, my lights are integrated with my alarm system. So when I open my garage door, between sunset and sunrise, I've got a light that comes on downstairs.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
and when someone intrudes, it flashes red.
No,
okay.
Those are just white lights. But, no, what happens is then the sirens start going.
Yeah.
And it alerts my phone.
I would connect the red light to it, like Alexa, do a system where this thing's happening.
I just haven't gotten that far.
Yeah. That would be cool. That's the cool thing about voice is you can add on commands.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's actually basically like programming. I mean,
it is.
It's 100% programming actually, but
it's
user friendly
code.
Yeah.
It's more end user friendly.
Yeah. UX. I think that's what they call it.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, hardly anybody, programmers write code anymore, but yeah, everybody else is using drag and drop Squarespace, like templates, you don't even, WordPress is amazing. You can still, which is a software that you build websites with. Yeah. And that's just, and not that you don't know that, but just for anyone that doesn't know that, it's yes, you can code with it. If you know code, you could probably do 10 times more, but there's templates that allow you, if you to get whatever you need to have a complete. You can have a website up and operational in a matter of a couple of hours.
Yeah, a couple of hours, and sometimes there's some. If it's your first time, there's a little bit of a learning curve.
There's always a learning curve. But then there's the little tweaks. Oh, I'd rather have this, and I'm going to move this. But yeah, you can have one functional in a couple of hours.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's amazing how the technology is advancing, and yes, it's there's some pitfalls with it, but for the most part, it's it used to take 2 minutes to send a photo on your phone.
Well, before phones, we used to have to wait 24 hours.
To download a song, yeah.
No, just if you took a picture with an SLR.
Oh, wow.
Then you had to take the film to a Photoshop.
Oh, yeah.
And they would develop it, and, you paid extra for 24-hour service.
Oh,
and we thought that was just cool.
Yeah, because 50 years before then, you couldn't even do that.
Right. Yeah, you had a glass plate, and you had to soak it in acid.
Yeah. 50 years before then. Before that we're not taking photos unless you're paying a bunch of money. You still can't do that.
Yeah. But now you got a phone that's got a 12 megapixel camera in it, and you can take a picture and send it to your friends immediately. And with 5G coming on board, that's going to let me just get that out of the way so
it's all good. It's kind of cozy. But 5G, that's some good stuff. And I'll wait for to continue this conversation because it's going to pick up over there. But 5G. What do you know about 5G?
Very little. It's going to be okay. So there is an issue with walls and things like that. Mm-hmm. It's a much shorter range. So we've got,
but it's powerful.
We got the 2.4 and the 5 now. Mm-hmm. Okay, so 2.4 has better penetration through walls and things like that, but 5 has the speed. Well, 5G is going to have more speed, less range. Mm-hmm. So the providers are going to have to go around and add more.
Put them on every tree or something like that.
Yeah, so it's going to have a lot of boosters and a lot more towers. But
for sure, but it's feasible. I mean. Absolutely. Imagine when we didn't have electricity and Edison was we're going to put a pole on every block. We're going to put a generator every neighborhood. Imagine how crazy and ambitious that sounded.
Yeah.
It's but now it's normal.
Yeah. Yeah. And, we run the cables underground so you don't even see them anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Where before we had a little guy walking around with a stick and he'd go up and light the oil lamp,
No, for sure. Yeah. Actually, there's no telephone poles here.
Well, we've got a light pole down that.
You got light poles, but no telephone poles. I've actually, you kind of just brought that to my attention. I don't see those as much.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I don't know. It's just interesting. Yeah. It's a lot. It makes more sense.
Yeah.
And it's just funny how technology advances and, the skepticism behind it. And, I remember reading an article saying people, when trains first came out, they were afraid that the speeds were going to be hazardous to your health.
Yeah.
Going that fast is not good for your health, is what they say.
It's not natural.
Yeah, it's just not natural, exactly. And it's funny how that works.
Yeah.
And so back to business.
Back to business.
What got you, or what do you think has been some of your reasons why you've been able to maintain for so long?
Adaptability. Mm-hmm. So when I first started, I was pre-wiring new custom homes, probably 4 a month.
Okay.
And then, the recession.
What's that mean?
Going in when it's being built.
Okay.
And running the wires.
Nice.
So.
You were an electrician, essentially.
No, it's all low volt. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So TVs, phones, data, audio, things like that.
Speakers built into walls and stuff like that.
Ceiling speakers, wall speakers. Yeah.
Nice.
Then the building stopped. Custom homes were no longer being built, basically. So I thought, okay, I can't go back to corporate America.
What year was that?
It was 10, 12 years ago.
Okay.
10, 11, yeah, 11, 12 years ago.
Right when you started.
Right
Okay.
when I started, yeah.
Okay, and people weren't building custom homes no more?
Not really, no.
Not really? Okay.
Very, very few.
And then how did you adapt?
So that's when I got into the control aspect of it. So I found a remote control company that I liked. I had been using personally, and I just decided, all right, here's a training in Denver. So I drove to Denver and sat through the class.
Interesting.
And, it was like, so before there's what we call aerobic programming, where you take the remote and you push buttons and you go through the built-in databases and say, okay, my Sony TV, and then you test it. Well, now you program on the computer.
Okay. Or phone?
Can't do it on the phone yet.
Not
because
yet.
You still got to be able to dump it in.
Okay.
You got to have the hard connect. So it's the data transfer aspect of it. But, you say, okay, hey, Joe, I've got a Sony TV, I've got a Yamaha receiver, I've got a Sony Blu-ray, and I've got a DirecTV box, this model number. I can have that programmed before the remote even gets to me from my supplier. Then when it's here.
Programmed, what do you mean? Like to connect all of those devices into one
remote.
Okay,
yeah.
one remote. Okay, cool.
So then you also do what's called a macro, which is multiple steps off of one button push. So when I hit watch TV, turns on my TV, of course. It turns on my my TiVo. It turns on my receiver to the correct input. It mutes it, because I don't know about your TV, but every time I turn mine on, it's a commercial.
Yeah.
So you sit
That's a
down,
nice program, yeah.
and it's all ready to go.
Yeah.
Or you say, okay, there's nothing on TV. I want to watch a movie. So you would go back to the main menu, hit watch DVD, watch movie, however you've called it.
For sure.
And it does the same things. So, it says, oh, the TV's on. I'm not going to turn the TV on. But I'm going to change the receiver to not the TV input, but the Blu-ray input. And I'm going to turn the Blu-ray player on. And when I turn my Blu-ray player on, it automatically opens the drawer.
Okay.
So all I have to do is put the disc in, sit down, hit play, and everything's ready.
Nice.
So that's what macroing is. So that's what programming a remote's all about.
So what's to say someone doesn't just, turn on their if they want to watch a DVD, turn on their DVD player and just switch it from HDMI, because that's how I do it. I mean, I don't have all that extra stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess I could, but
well, okay, so if you want to watch a movie, first off, you got to have a remote control for your TV, and you got to have a remote for your Blu-ray player. Okay, so you've got that plugged into HDMI 1, and your TV's plugged into HDMI 2. Okay, you can go into your TV with your TV remote, and tell it, okay, go to HDMI 1. Not a problem, Or like when I program a theater, I always control the lighting as well.
Okay.
So when you hit play, the lights go down.
So you do some advanced programming kind of stuff, essentially.
Yeah.
It's essentially to make it more user experience, a better experience.
Better theater type experience. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Like I haven't had a need for that because I've lived a nomadic life kind of the last few years.
Yeah.
I haven't even had my own house for a few years, and so I mean I'm just not there yet. But I could easily see if I get my own house, like when I have this and that, and like there's a bunch of things that I have that would be cool to do.
Yeah.
And why do you need a remote? Like, why isn't there not apps on a phone?
You can, if you've got the remote programmed, you can also add the app. Okay, but a remote's more convenient.
Well, kind of. The phone's. I would argue that the phone's more convenient because it's in your pocket.
Okay, so it's in your pocket, but okay, mine's asleep. So now you have to wake it up. Now you have to find the app.
Okay.
As opposed to having the remote and hitting pause.
For sure. Yeah.
Especially when you're watching TV. Like I watch TV. I don't like commercials. So I'm either going to fast forward through them if it's recorded, or I'm going to mute it if it's live.
Yeah.
So the commercial starts, and it's a commercial you just really despise.
Yeah.
So you find your phone, is it between the couch cushions? Did it fall?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
As opposed to mute.
Having an independent device is definitely...
Yeah, it's absolutely doable with a phone app. But you've got to have the programming to allow your phone to do it.
Yeah.
You don't have to have the physical remote. All you need is the app. And
for sure.
Yeah. So,
and see, thankfully, I don't have to worry about commercials when I'm watching TV because I use Netflix. Right. And I haven't had cable since I've been independent.
Right.
And that's insane, to think about because I had it my whole life growing up.
Yeah.
And I used to be upset when we didn't have it because we didn't have enough money or whatever.
Right.
And I couldn't watch Dragon Ball Z or whatever.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But now I have Netflix, and I'm sure you guys have some cool integrations with that.
Now we've got, video on demand.
Yeah.
You can watch what you want when you want. Which, that's really cool.
Yeah.
But like live sporting events, things like that, you can find the app for NFL or Major League Baseball or things like that, and
for sure.
Yeah, you don't have to pay for the NFL package at, $175 a season or whatever it is these days, and you can find the games you want. So,
yeah. And I recently just got into sports, actually. I have never really watched sports games my whole entire life, but I'm from Kansas City, and the Chiefs won. Yeah. So I watched the Super Bowl. That was the first football game I ever watched. Wow. And I went downtown to a bar to watch it and had a good time. Yeah. I enjoyed it. And I'm recently getting in as an entrepreneur. I'm recently, only because of, you know what Gary Vaynerchuk is? He's an entrepreneur, but he's been talking about baseball cards a lot. And baseball cards, or just any kind of sports cards, actually. Yeah. Are kind of like on the climb again. Oh, okay. Like they were on the climb and they kind of died out, but now they're on the climb again and they're going for a lot of money. Some of them are. Yeah. And so that got me into I'm going to start watching basketball and I'm going to learn every sport. I'm going to learn every player and start investing in the right players with cards. Yeah. And so I watched my first basketball game last week. It was the Lakers versus the other big one, Celtics. Okay. I think it was Celtics, but it was cool to watch, and so it got me excited, I'm about to get into sports not again, but for the first time in my life, and it's just weird how life can just, I guess, here's a sports reference, throw you a curveball, and it's just interesting, but yeah, man. So, what do you think has been some of the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome with this business?
Staying current.
That's been one of the hardest challenges within this business.
That's been the biggest challenge.
Okay.
I mean, customer service, treat people the way you want to be treated, and just maintain that. Mm-hmm. That's not that difficult to do. Mm-hmm. But staying current with the technology, So since I've been in this, we've gone from video over coax, modulated coax, means turns on and off bunch of times a second, 60 times a second. Okay. We went from modulated to single-ended or interlaced video. That's the red, white, yellow that you see. Mm-hmm. Yellow is the video. Mm-hmm. Well, then we went from interlaced to component, which was red, green, blue. Mm-hmm. So 3 separate colors and 2 audio feeds. Mm-hmm. Then we went to HDMI. Yep. High definition multimedia interface.
One cord.
One cord does it all.
Yeah.
Then we went from HDMI 1.0 to 1.1 to 1.2. Now we're at 2.2. So, now we're at 4K video resolution. Sure. We're, 8K is on the horizon. Mm-hmm. It's already out for the large screens. Mm-hmm.
And some of it, I think, is overkill. What's next outside of just higher resolution? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. 3D, I guess.
In addition to, we've already tried the 3D.
Simulation.
That was really kind of a flop. It was weird.
I think virtual reality is a few years out, but I think it's going to be the dominant force eventually.
It may, yeah. But what's going on now is, it's in not just the 4 to 8K in video resolution. Now we're adding channels. We've got Atmos, which is height and things like that. We started with, back in the old days, mono. Then we went to stereo, 2 speakers. Then we went to quadraphonic. Okay, 4 speakers. Now we're at, then it was, the first surrounds were 5.1. Then it went to 7.1, 7.2, 9.1, 9.2.
So you can hear a mouse go through a mouse hole.
I forget where we are.
On the left
it's up into the 20-something .4.4. So you can have front heights, rear heights. You can add heights into that. Then you can have 4 subs and, more
immersive. Maybe before we get into, or maybe it might not even happen. Maybe virtual reality. There'll be a use for that, but maybe there'll still be other things will still exist.
Yeah.
But I know theaters are now getting into like your chair.
Yeah.
Your chair is moving and jiggling like it's programmed within the movie.
Yeah.
Like the people who designed the movie, the people who directed and filmed it and did all the cool stuff, they're adding those elements into it to help it make it more immersive.
Well, what they're doing now, they've been doing this for a long time. They're just shakers, and they're tied into the bass track. But there used to be like little kiosks in the mall where you could go sit into this
the roller coaster
space
thing?
pod, and it was all hydraulic, and fans, and
Well, the theater off of Carefree Cinemark, It has, I don't know if they have them in the theaters yet, but they had like a sample of it outside, and it was a chair, and it was the movie, and it went like this, and it went like that, and it jiggled, and and it was insane.
Games, like the racing games, where you got the full screen wraparound, and the hydraulics and everything. So you get the impression of acceleration and braking, and same thing with flight simulators, and the virtual reality aspect of that for training. Pilots and military and things.
That's
like
probably
that.
where it was developed, actually.
Yeah.
The military developed so much stuff.
Well, mostly NASA and the military develop things, and then it trickles down to us.
For sure.
Like Velcro and battery operated tools. That's all NASA stuff.
Yeah.
So, there's a reason for military and scientific research.
There's an economic use for it.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
It's probably developed so much money.
Oh, yeah.
So many industries.
So many industries. Yeah.
But that gets me excited thinking about that. Have you installed any kind of chairs like that?
No, I haven't done any of those.
Okay.
My computer guys have done some. They've got they had a flight simulator.
Okay.
They specially built
for a corporation,
for a customer. And I just happened to go in there, and my buddy's like, "Check this out." I was like, damn, this is cool.
Yeah. Have you experienced the virtual reality stuff?
Not that really impressed me. I saw some of the early stuff, and it was like,
And you actually put it on and everything?
Yeah.
Because I've seen some of the early stuff, like even some like just a couple years ago, when I actually first tried one on. Even some of like the cheaper stuff, it freaked me out how it played with your senses.
Yeah.
It's weird.
What I was seeing reminded me of the early days of 3D movies, where there was a lot of this and things like this.
Yeah.
It was what I used to call 3D for the sake of 3D. And that's what I was kind of seeing maybe in these VR demos and stuff like that. It's like, okay, where's the true aspect of this? But, like I say, for training, surgeons, I can see a surgeon practicing
for sure
on a virtual.
I think it's a matter of the right developer developing the right thing, and for the basic customer, and also it's a creative aspect. Like if you design a film that's full virtual reality, that means you have to think of the full 3D space while you're designing it.
Yeah.
You have someone over here, but you also have someone like another actor in the background that's just there only for if someone wants to turn their head.
Yeah.
But a lot of people won't see that actor because I did notice, I've done some research about it. When you make a film that's in virtual reality, you kind of design the attention to go certain directions. Yeah. And that's kind of the trick to it.
Right.
But I think it's super awesome. There's a new movie out called 1917. And it's not virtual reality, but it's designed to look like it's all one take, but it's just the way it's cut.
Yeah.
But it's designed with all one take. It's continual from A to B kind of movie. And like they actually like intentionally made it to where the camera only goes forward with every shot. It never backtracks.
Yeah.
And the way they got around that was like doing this 360 orbital thing so that they could show other people. And And I mean, that's just with the camera tracking. And this I'm nerding out over film stuff because I love films. But yeah, man. I think I don't know. I think we've gone over most of the business questions that I typically ask. Like, okay, how did you maintain keeping up with the current?
I go to 2 to 4 trainings per quarter.
Okay, nice.
Just to stay current.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people say, well, you know, you spend a lot of time training. It's like, well, if I don't train, you know, there's some young Turk that's going to just blow by me.
Yeah,
you know?
No, for sure. Yeah.
And I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want to be the guy in the industry that's been in the industry and is still in the industry. And I go to the trainings and it's like, hey, Joe, how you doing? You know, haven't seen you for a while. You know, but, you know, and the young guys respect that. You know, it's like, oh, wow, you know, here's an antique guy that's here.
Yeah.
He's still learning. And
he's got a cool beard.
Yeah. So, yeah, you know, you got to read the trade magazines. You know, you got to talk to people. Like I just had a meeting last week with my high-end audio rep.
Okay.
And, you know, he's telling me the future, what's coming out, and, you know, why. And, you know, so like I'm replacing that receiver with a new processor that will have 16 channels. And so 4 of those channels are assignable. So I can tell them what to do, you know. So, yeah, I can't put Atmos speakers in here because of the gabled ceilings, and I don't want to cut holes in my walls and stuff like that. But, you know, I can then get into the room correction software and start tuning things. And I always run the software, and then I tweak it by ear, you know, because a lot of people, you know, if it's just set to the industry standard, the very first question I get, I'm not hearing anything from the back. You know, so I always turn the backs up, especially for older people. You know, I turn the center channel up because that's where the voices are. You know, not.
So you basically know all the small nuances because you've been in it so long.
I've been in it for a while. Yeah. I know a lot of the nuances.
Yes, nuances like, you know, turning the back of speakers or the rear speakers so that you feel it a little more.
Well, you know, just in my experience,
people like that.
That's what people expect. You know. You know, and then the first thing I ask them, okay, you didn't hear anything in the back. What movie were you watching? You know, put on an action flick and then see what happens.
Yeah.
You know,
some movies aren't designed to have all that stuff. It wasn't even in the creative process.
Right. So yeah, when you got, you know, My Dinner with Andre, and it's 2 people sitting at a table talking. Nothing's going to happen in the background. You know,
unless, you know, like they make like an updated version that's designed for that, and you hear Civil War in the background.
Civil War, stuff like that. But then you put in, you know, like Jeff Beck live at Ronnie Scott's, and you hear the glasses clinking behind you, and you can feel the cigarette smoke.
It's designed. It's with intention, and it's all about the creative, honestly.
Yeah.
And,
absolutely.
Yeah. Eventually, they're gonna have to add smells.
Yeah. Smell-o-vision. Yeah.
And I've always wondered how that would work. You know, like, is there chemicals like in back that you have to fill up every week or whatever?
You know, or is it like a scratch and sniff book?
Yeah. Or maybe we'll be able to quantify the way we quantified sound from molecules and just create those smells out of molecules. Like, I don't know. Like, we're not there yet, but
it's not going to surprise me when it happens.
Yeah, no, for sure. So, where do you think the future of home theaters are going?
I keep thinking like 3D, but like holograms.
Okay.
I think that would be...
So like layers?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just put, you know, a series of projectors up and it focuses. So, you know, just like...
So you have depth, an actual real depth instead of a flat screen. Like it's like the screen goes far back.
So just like when Princess Leia is being broadcast by R2-D2 and here's this little Princess Leia, you know, but it looked like a real person there.
Yeah. Imagine a big box that you watch. And they used to be big boxes, TVs, but but they didn't actually have that. I guess what's that? The depth.
The depth.
Yeah. That would be interesting to actually see like a whole plate form in front of you. Like
yeah, you know, and not to have a TV sitting there, but you know, not to have a screen on the wall either. It's just it's happening in your living room.
Yeah.
You know, I think that'd be really really cool.
And that's why I say virtual reality. I think because that's what that does essentially. At least the illusion of it.
Yeah. But with holograms, okay, I don't want to sit down for 2 hours with a headset on.
No, for sure. Yeah.
You know.
I mean, I might. I don't know.
Yeah. You know, but like the 3D glasses. People of your generation didn't bother. People of my generation, it gave us headaches. Within 10,
some of
15
people,
minutes.
my friends,
Yeah.
that was the same.
But, you know, as the general rule, the older the person was, the quicker the headache happened. Yeah, there were people your age that were getting
For sure, yeah.
You know, so, yeah, and, you know, like, one of the coolest things, you know, when I'm sitting here watching TV or a movie, I can hit pause and go get another drink or, you know, go to the bathroom, whatever. Well, now I got to take my glasses off.
Yeah.
You know, plus, you know, you get the heat build up and now you got the perspiration. And I would rather just have holograms sitting right here.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I would do it for using both for different purposes.
Yeah, different purposes.
Because I could imagine like just immersing yourself into a whole world. And you can do that now. Like the technology is there. Like I just haven't done it yet. But
but what if you were a burglar and you looked through a window and you saw people walking around and sitting on the couch and moving and things like that? Would you break into that house?
I don't know. That's like a Home Alone kind of thing where he has all this puppeteer or those machines going and all that stuff. Yeah.
But if you had actual holograms, you know, that looked like real people, and
imagine that being like the alarm system's already built into the home. It's all in the control part. Imagine like you have a setting on your phone or in your alarms when you're gone. It makes it look like people's there.
Yeah,
like, because you have the holographic TV.
Well, you could do that, and you know, today like. My lights are automated, so if I'm not here, my lights come on and off at different times of day.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that. Yeah. Because I'm a paranoid person, and I think about stuff like that all the time.
Yeah. Well, you know, you don't want somebody breaking in and stealing your camera rig, you know?
No, for sure. Yeah. And I remember when I had my duplex, I would leave my lights on when I left. It's kind of like a store, you know, stores leave their lights on at night.
Yeah.
I mean, people know no one's there, but it makes it harder. It makes it less tempting to break in when there's lights everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, as a hoodlum when I was younger, so I know those things.
You know how they're thinking. Huh?
Yeah, sure, for sure, man. So I mean, I guess that about wraps it up.
Cool.
We're already past 30 minutes, and the show typically is either 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think there was one question I wanted to ask, but I don't remember what it was. It was how. There's a couple questions actually I still have. How do you get your customers? Is it word of mouth?
Word of mouth.
Mainly word of mouth?
Yeah.
Okay, and I guess I seen we met at a networking event. Is that the only networking event?
No, I belong to a group here in town. And,
okay. Is it a BNI?
No, it's not a BNI.
Okay.
We're far less structured.
Okay.
Nazi-like.
No, yeah. Far less Nazi-like or more Nazi?
Far less.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we're a pretty chill group, you know, and we don't focus just on the referral aspect of it. We do a lot of education. You know, we've had political candidates come in.
Okay.
We had the mayor candidates come in several years ago. And, you know, we'll have outside speakers come in and talk to us about technology. We'll have people from the group, like tomorrow morning, our financial planner is going to speak. And just, you know, we have a guy that owns a title company. He always gives us the situation with the home sales. We have a mortgage guy, you know, talks about mortgage interest and rates and things like that.
Is it an open networking group or is it membership?
It's membership.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many like networking like groups out there.
There's a bunch of them around.
I just learned about the whole realm recently.
Yeah.
But it's cool. So how did you hear about Power Connectors?
I think it was on meetup.com.
Nice. Okay, yeah. I think it was too, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, I belong to a couple of happy hours. And, you know, so, I mean, I pretty much force myself to go out.
Yeah, I have to too, usually.
Yeah.
And I love the happy hour ones because there's drinking, and I like drinking.
Yeah.
And, you know, I like networking too, and I think it makes it I love the morning ones too with coffee and everything. But But, I like the evening ones a
Yeah.
little better.
Yeah, because, the day's over. Let's have a couple beers, let's chat.
Talk business or whatever.
Talk business, talk personal,
Yeah, exactly.
And, that's just kind of... But, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Meetup. And, I just got a prompt. It said... And it was... The power connectors were meeting at the Dublin house. Well, I know the owners of the Dublin house.
Okay.
I wired the TVs in there.
Nice.
I used to do a lot of work in there.
See, I don't even know what that is. I've only been going to it since they were at Tap Traders.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that was about a year ago.
Okay.
Maybe more. But yeah, so I thought, okay, that's 10 minutes from the house. I'll roll by there. And I met some interesting people, and I thought, okay. So I signed up for the group, and now I get the monthly reminder on the email, and it's like,
and Gary Rollins, he has a newsletter. I don't know if you know the guy who started Power Connectors. He has a newsletter where he releases it every month, and I think twice a month, where he has a list of all different kinds of networking events, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, and I actually meant to utilize that this month, but I've just been so busy. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's
I love being busy.
I mean, you can. I tell people you can network yourself out of business.
Yeah.
If you're a professional networker, when are you doing your work?
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
So I kind of limit it, like Power Connectors that's a happy hour to me. I see some people that I know, I say hi, I have a couple beers. At least I wasn't sitting here by myself watching TV or
no, for sure,
looking at the computer or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things that just forces me to get out of the house because I'll be a hermit.
And see, maybe like the networking part is also business development. I mean, that's important. So maybe like it's a matter of, because I know like, and I'm thankful that I have enough work to where I have to put off networking events.
Yeah.
But if I could hire or subcontract out an editor, then I could focus working on my business instead of in my business, which networking is working on your business.
Right.
And, and that's how you get more clients and or more customers. And I mean, there's other ways to do it too. I mean, purely online. The good thing about social media, social networking is, or social media networking is you could do it from your couch, and you can reach way more people if you do it right.
True.
But I mean, there's good aspects for both of them, I think. And I've gotten clients from doing both.
Yeah.
And I've actually gotten more clients from doing the in-person networking, but just because I slack on the amount of time I should be putting in the online networking for my business.
I think the personal interaction is the way to go, because like when I sit down for a webinar, 10 minutes into the webinar, I'm playing solitaire.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, that's not even the kind of online networking I do. I don't even do the webinars. I'm getting on Facebook, finding other like-minded people, and trying to get to know them, and then we get in a meeting. There's actually a little strategy that I utilize, and I could probably talk about it on this business.
So are you using Google My Business? And
yes, I recently just got on there. The reason why it's taken me so long is because I've been living in Airbnbs while I'm out here, which I plan on transitioning into an actual place. But so my address, my home address on my ID is in Kansas City.
Right.
So I just, said, screw it. It's better to have one at all than to not have one.
Yeah. So
I just put it out there. It's out there right now. But it's still there though. And it's still searchable, and you can add locations. So
sure.
I don't know if I still have to go more and tweak the stuff. But I think Colorado Springs is in my location, but I don't know if I pop up. If you type video production company in Colorado Springs, I might pop up, I might not. I got to tweak that a little bit. But I do pop up in Kansas City, so
cool.
So, and I haven't gotten any work from that. But I mean, if a job comes and it's a good job, then I will travel to Kansas City for that. And that's something I would love to do anyways, is traveling for my work anyways. Cause I could hit up with the online social networking. You can hit up people in Hawaii if you want. Like spend an hour a day for 5 days hitting up people in Hawaii. You're likely to get a client in Hawaii.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, especially with the way I do things, and maybe if you market it, I mean, if that's what your ambitions were, I don't know if that's your ambitions, but I mean, anyone can do it. I think and not anyone. I guess certain businesses like Brandon Kirk, he can't go. It's not feasible for him to go clean someone's air duct in Hawaii.
Right.
Yeah. And that's just, I mean, but he can build his business out here and then go take a trip to Hawaii though.
Right. Yeah.
But I just like to merge business with with pleasure, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So, my trade show, this past year was in Denver. This coming year is in Denver. But the 2 years previous, it was in San Diego.
Yeah. Nice.
So yeah, I get to go on a business trip, but I'm in San Diego.
Exactly. Yeah. I love traveling.
Yeah.
It's fun for me. But yeah, so I guess my last question is, which one of the coolest projects you've done?
Oh, wow. I don't know. There's just been so many of them.
Yeah.
I'm working on one now up in Monument for this guy. And, he's remodeling his theater. But what I'm doing first is I'm doing the lighting in his house.
Okay.
So I'm gonna transition him piece by piece by piece into a smart home.
Nice.
So
and that's what he wants?
That's what he wants.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So we've been talking about, like, my alarm, when I show up and disarm my system in 4 or 5 rooms, it starts playing music.
Yeah.
And
that's cool. Like you have those small little creative things. That's one of the value pieces that you bring. That's actually how you could, separate yourself, I guess, or how you probably do. And I can relate that to my business. Like, yeah, you could shoot the videos yourself. You can, but I mean, if you want to take it to the next level, that's where I can come in. And because it's not just, there's certain small little technical things that people don't know when they're flying their drone. If they want to slow that footage down, if they don't shoot at a higher frame rate, they're just going to have duplicated frames.
Yeah.
Because if you stretch that footage out, it's going to do is duplicate the frames.
Yeah.
But if you have 60, if you shot in 60 or 120 frames per second, you're going to pull those out. Those other frames are going to be there.
Yeah.
And there's softwares too, where it can do like an optical flow kind of thing, where it takes one frame and it takes the next frame and it tries to figure out what's in between, and it generates that. Yeah. And like, there's just small little things, like having that little extra know-how is there's people who can benefit from it and people who don't give a shit about it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
This guy, he's got the same Sonos system, almost as much as I do.
Yeah.
And, when I told him, when I pull up, my music's playing. How do you do that?
Yeah.
It's like, well, you got to have this alarm system. Well, let's talk about next,
Yeah. Cool little creative things. Because I know when I was younger, there was a movie on Disney called Smart House or something like that. And it was in the house goes evil and it tries to control them. And it got me excited about the possibility of what homes could be.
Yeah.
And now we're getting to that point to where that stuff is reality. Well, not a home trying to keep you captive, but I mean, that might be possible too.
It's feasible, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, once I get my new equipment in the surround system, I'm going to put a new control system in. And eventually I'll be able to sit down and say, hey, watch ESPN. And it'll put it on ESPN and do everything that's required to have me sit here watch ESPN. Do I want it 100% voice? No. Yeah. There are times that, I'm like, okay, when I watch TV, live TV, I'm a surfer. Okay. I just scroll through and see what's on. That's going to be difficult to do,
unless you connect your like Xbox, how they had that Connect. Maybe it can pick up certain gestures, so you don't have to pick up your remote. You can just be like, and it sees that you're doing that, so you can just be like, without picking up.
Some of the TVs have that built into their remotes.
Okay.
The control system that I use has the voice commands optional.
Voice command and gesture command.
Yeah.
I think with a mixture of both of those, you could have some pretty cool experiences, user experiences.
But what concerns me about the gesture control is, like, let's say you're holding your remote or you're not, and it's just watching you because you got the camera and the TV, and you sneeze. Achoo! Did it just change the channel?
That'd be cool. Like if you program that.
Yeah. But what if you were watching the ball game and the guy fades back and he's just about to pass and you sneeze and it changes channels?
See, that's a what if. I mean, I guess that if the technology is smart enough to understand that, because programmers have thought of everything. Yeah. If they have thought of every little outcome that could be possible.
They've thought of most every outcome.
Yeah, for sure. And what's cool is, the more people use it, the more things they can figure out. It's troubleshooting and building off of what actually happens. And, the longer the technology is around, the better it gets.
And that's why I get into it. That's why I put the stuff in my house. Because instead of coming to your house and charging you for me to play with it, I sit here and play with it. So when you tell me, I want to be able to, do this, then I'll have it programmed, ready to go. Here's your remote. Let's check it out and make sure it's doing what you want.
For sure. For sure, man. Yeah. So I guess that about wraps it up for this episode of the Colorado Springs Business Podcast. I'm here with Joe Fyffe, and I always am afraid I'm going to butcher someone's last name, and I always think I do every time I say it. And I try not to say anything about it. I just try to roll through it. But every time I have to mention it, that I always mess up. But yeah, that's all for this episode, and it was great having you on. And
great to be here.
Cool, man. So yeah, that's all. If you guys want any custom homes or any special, is there anything you would like to shout out or offer?
Put music in your home.
Yeah.
Music gives your house a pulse, and you don't even have to change the wiring anymore with the wireless systems. I like Sonos. Cheap product endorsement there.
Yeah.
But Sonos is great. It's got built-in voice. You can turn the voice off.
Are they paying you?
No, they're not.
Well, shit.
Yeah, they should be. Let's start with getting some music in your house and then controlling your lights.
All right.
Or making your house more secure with an alarm system. Yeah. So
and you know what to do. Hit up Joe from AV Excellence, the owner of AV Excellence.
Owner operator.
Yes. So yeah, we'll see you guys on next week's episode.
Adios. Bye-bye.
That's all for the Colorado Springs Business Podcast. So I hope you have rated this show. If you haven't yet, please do. If you feel the urge to, if you really enjoy the show, it will really help us reach more people and grow the show as a whole. And I'm treating the show like a business since it is a business podcast. So I'm doing everything I can to optimize everything. And I forgot to say, I'm going to probably edit this in at the front. New episodes of this show every Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. Mountain Time, of course, because this is the Colorado Springs Business Podcast. All right, so if you enjoyed the show, don't forget to rate it, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and we will see you guys next Wednesday.